U.S. lawmakers are watching closely the developments between the U.S. and Russia since Russia's invasion 3 years ago. Congress has passed nearly $183 billion in aid for Ukraine, and many want that funding to stop. All agree that this is a pivotal moment. Capitol Hill correspondent Erik Rosales continues our team coverage. Erik.
Yes, good evening, Tracy. Let's face it, the stakes are high over the temporary ceasefire deal. Lawmakers are skeptical, though, that Russian President Vladimir Putin will keep his side of the bargain. Republican Senator Josh Hawley tells me a negotiated settlement was inevitable almost from the start.
Joe Biden had been saying privately to senators for literally years, 2 years. Anthony Blinken had been telling us behind closed doors that there would have to be a negotiated settlement, that a battlefield victory would never happen.
Others agree, especially since the U.S. has invested heavily in Ukraine.
There's been spring offensive, there's been tanks, there's been additional weaponry, there's been advanced weaponry. That line has not moved. If this was just set to continue, we would see a war of attrition and perhaps ultimately Russia marching across Ukraine.
Lawmakers add the ball was in Putin's court, and they're thankful he accepted the ceasefire deal.
They made a 30-day ceasefire deal with Ukraine. Ukraine accepted that, showing Ukraine was ready for peace and secessions. If Russia doesn't accept it just for 30 days, then they have ulterior motives. And that's what we're seeing from Russia.
But they add Putin cannot be trusted and will not keep his word if it serves in his best interest. Lawmakers insist the ceasefire must have guarantees.
He's now looking for a way out. As long as it is an enforceable peace, then I think we might be able to move forward. I question whether or not Mr. Putin is still serious about it, but whatever agreements we make, they have to be enforceable.
If we want to appease Putin and say, look, Putin, just do whatever you want, then that's going to be the reality. And Zelensky will be forced by Trump and Vance to give up a fifth of the country, and Putin is going to continue to threaten expansionism.
Some say if the deal didn't come soon, Ukraine funding from the U.S. would dry up soon.
I wouldn't give him another red cent. They've stole a lot of it. He even admitted he didn't know where some of it was.
I come from South Texas, and it's a hard sell to the American people to say we should be securing the border of other countries before we secure ours.
So what's next for Congress on Ukraine? Well, any further aid will not be considered until after a massive bill with President Trump's agenda gets through Congress, and that could be late summer. Tracy?
All right, Erik, thank you so much. I also know that you're also following the latest on the investigation involving that fatal midair collision between the American Airlines plane and that Black Hawk helicopter, which happened above the skies here in D.C. I know a preliminary report was released. What does it tell us?
Yeah, it certainly was. The National Transportation Safety Board released its preliminary findings on last month's crash. Now, one of the main findings, the FAA has now imposed permanent restrictions on non-essential helicopter operations around Washington National Airport. Now, and is also eliminating all helicopter and passenger jet mixed traffic. Now, this is closing a very key path known as Route 4. It's a major step in keeping everyone safe, according to the report. And then next Thursday, the NTSB and FAA officials will also lead the investigation, who led the investigation, that is, will be testifying before Congress on a hearing about the fatal crash, and we'll bring you the very latest from that hearing next week.